If it isn't love, why do I feel this way? Why does she stay on my mind?
All right.
Yeah.
Well, nice.
That's
I
right.
liked it. Well, hey guys, welcome to the Anime Punch Podcast.
Hey there. Doc here.
This is Sean. We're going to be talking about our starting anime, our first anime?
Yeah,
our
first
kind of
anime.
Journey into the...
Yeah, our
foray.
journey into anime watching.
Right. So why don't you go first?
Okay.
Just to put the pressure on you.
Well, obviously the first show I watched was Pokemon, but I mean,
Naturally.
that's so many other people watch that. I don't really consider that my bridge into anime because at that age it was just another cartoon to me.
Right.
I was like 7 years old probably when that came out. But what really got me into anime was Toonami. Like watching Toonami on Cartoon Network, which had a variety of shows that I watched all at the same time. Dragon Ball Z was the most popular.
Of course.
But I was also watching other shows at the same time. Sailor Moon, Gundam Wing.
I also was unashamedly watching Sailor Moon.
Yeah, I kind of originally had that, kind of sense of like, oh, this is for girls, watching
Right.
Sailor Moon. But then after watching it and realizing
like,
that
hey,
it was cool.
Kind of
I'm like,
good.
I'm like, yeah, why not?
Don't judge me, okay?
So Dragon Ball Z was definitely my favorite out of all of those, just because,
I mean...
yeah, with the fighting and, it was just awesome,
Something... like, maybe, like, as we are now, we can, like... look back and be like, man, there were so many filler episodes.
Yeah.
20 episodes in a 5-minute arc. But as a kid, you're just like, ah!
Yeah, not only filler, but just the fights that there would be one fight that lasts for like 10 episodes.
Right.
Yeah. Like even the current, Dragon Ball Super, the newest one, like the last tournament arc that happens the tournament only lasts for like half an hour, but it spans like almost 30 episodes.
Oh damn.
Yeah.
So they didn't change that much.
Right.
Damn.
But yeah, Gundam Wing was also really cool. That was my venture into mech type stuff, with big robots and all that kind of thing, which is really cool.
Never been a big fan of mech.
I was never the hugest fan either, but Gundam Wing was an exception. I don't really like actively go out and look for mech shows, but Gundam Wing is an exception, and Eureka is another one, or Eureka, however you want to pronounce it.
Right.
But yeah, actually, I forgot about another one that's kind of mech-like, and that was Zoids, which is one that I also watched at that same time.
Is that a kid show?
Yeah, it was. I would say that it was targeted for a younger audience. Yes.
I feel like it probably was you, but someone showed me like a commercial or opening to Zoids, and I'm like,
I think it was probably me
because I had no clue what it was.
Yeah, that was cool.
Was it maybe when we were talking about Power Rangers?
Maybe. I might have showed you like Sentai Warriors or something like that.
Maybe.
Which was not anime, but
hey,
still. So, how about you? What was the first ones that you watched?
Well, we're gonna start in the past, when I was a wee lad.
A wee lad.
A wee lad. It's pretty much all the same. I think almost every kid who grew up in this like time span we've all watched the same thing because we all got the same handful of shows. So Pokemon, obviously,
right?
As a kid who played every game or played Yellow, what was better than seeing that come to life?
Right.
The Yu-Gi-Oh. Those two were probably the biggest ones I was into, other than Dragon Ball Z. Like those three I watched every week, anytime it was on late night.
Yu-Gi-Oh! I just couldn't get into. I didn't I actually didn't watch that until I had played the card game a few times, and that was a while after.
It was just like how they wanted us to do it. For me and my brothers, it was just they wanted you to watch it and play it at the same time, and like, done.
Right.
Go for all the Exodia cards? All right, sold.
But I could never really get into Yu-Gi-Oh! All that much. I liked the game for a while until I bridged over to Magic the Gathering, and then I kind of dropped Yu-Gi-Oh! After that. So
yeah, you grew up out of it. I just threw it away. I just stopped playing. About when I stopped watching the anime, I think.
Yeah.
think those had pretty strong correlation in my lifetime.
Yeah.
But
did you ever watch Digimon?
No.
No?
I don't think I've ever seen an episode of Digimon.
Yeah, you know what? I've never seen an episode either, but I've seen a couple of the movies, and the movies are pretty dope.
Really?
Yeah. Like, there was one movie, and I had no idea what was going on because I didn't watch the show.
Yeah.
But I was still pretty captivated.
Really?
I couldn't remember the name of that particular movie. But.
So do they construct it in the same way that they construct Pokemon movies? Where you kind of have to know everything to go into it?
A little bit, yeah. Yeah, you kind of have to know what's going on in terms of, characters and, like, character development. You don't know about...
I don't know who you three are, but
yes,
you're enjoyable enough, I guess.
But at the same time, they do make it exciting enough or followable, understandable that you can still watch it and enjoy it. So.
Yeah. Interesting. I've heard that people like it, say it's better than Pokemon, but
yeah,
I mean, it's
not Pokemon though.
Yeah, it's not Pokemon. And then you're just like, well, you just didn't like Pokemon,
right? Okay. Or somebody, if you didn't like Pokemon, then you will like Digimon,
right? Yeah, you just needed something else to fill that hole. But I don't know. It's interesting because I've gone back and watched all those, not in like the last year, but Pokemon I can still go back and watch.
Mm-hmm.
I think Pokemon is like a little goofy and like not immensely animated, but I can still go back and watch all the old Pokemon shows.
Yeah, I definitely could too.
I think like was the 3 episodes, because so I played Pokemon Yellow, so I had the best experience, objectively the best experience in Pokemon. No, that is fact.
Right.
Because I got Pikachu, and then I got all 3 starters in their respective cities. And so, and those 3 episodes in the show are 3 of the strongest episodes in the entire show.
Yeah.
The Squirtle Squad.
Yes.
I love that episode.
Yeah.
That episode is hold up in my heart, man. I love that episode.
And Ash happens to get the leader of the turtles happens to be Ash's Pokemon. So
come on, at the end, glasses fall off and he runs after Ash and like tears of shedding, and I'm like, this came out 20 years ago.
I don't think. Well, I'm trying to think back on Pokemon and think of episodes that were as intense emotionally, as those first few episodes of Pokemon. Like when he rescues... Well, I don't even think that was one of the first few episodes, but like when he rescues Pikachu, or like it's Ash and Pikachu, and they're out in some huge rainstorm, and Ash gets electrocuted a bunch of times in the rain, but he's just like, no, I got to get you out of the rain, and he's riding his bike or something like that. And then like, Pikachu finally... before this point, Pikachu hates Ash.
This is episode 3?
3? Yeah,
2 or 3.
Something like that.
It's really early. It's one of the first episodes because it's the Firo, the one below it. Spiro?
Yeah.
Spiro, yeah.
Spiro.
It's like a flock of Spiro that are like attacking them.
Yep.
And he like dives in front of Pikachu. Yeah,
protecting him.
And that's when like you get the Pikachu like looking at him and
yeah. And then Pikachu licks Ash, and and it's like, oh,
yeah,
just such a heartfort moment.
There's some feels in that show, man. It's pretty good.
I don't know if I can remember any that were that, like that were that intense, and then like with Squirtle too.
Yeah, no, that like his first introductions to a lot of the first generation Pokemon were surprisingly emotional.
Yeah, Charmander too.
Yeah,
like when his flames about to go out.
Because there was like some intensity there, like some drama, and you're like, fuck that guy who, like, they made you fucking hate that dude, that fucking piece of shit.
Yes, the dude that abandoned.
Yeah, that
Charmander,
dirty fucking whore.
Yeah. Jerk.
Yeah, that guy. Man, you can't stand that guy.
Yeah,
and I don't know. Even later episodes in the first season, like past episode 50, and I don't know. I don't know if the show has done anything as good as the original until X and Y, which that would I could speak on that for a long time, but that's not what the show is about.
Right.
I could gush about how great X and Y is.
You like X and Y.
Don't get me started, my friend.
I won't get you started.
But it's fantastic.
I've watched the first few episodes of X and Y. I don't know. I don't remember why I stopped watching it. But I will have to go back and watch some more. It wasn't bad.
Highly recommend XY, and Z. Like that 100 or so episode series is Pokemon in its literal best form. The best Pokemon show season that has ever happened.
Right.
Including Sun and Moon, because Sun and Moon is trash.
Right. So what do you think of the movies? Like Pokemon first movie?
Oh, I liked it.
You liked it?
I mean, nowadays everyone it's kind of popular to hate it.
Yeah.
But I haven't seen it as an adult. But if I see that clip at the end, I still get teary-eyed a little bit, But it's
Go.
I don't know. It's people. What's the arguments on it? It's like forced or something or stupid. But
yeah,
I mean, as a kid, that didn't bother me, of course, because I don't think it bothered any kids. But I've got nostalgia glasses on it now.
Yeah,
because I watched it as a kid, and as a kid, I fucking bawled my eyes out.
Right.
I'm like
Yeah, I'm not sure if I would like it if I were to go back and watch Pokemon first movie. I'm not sure.
I think my nostalgia glasses are strong.
Yeah.
They're big.
Yeah. I went to the theaters to see it though.
Yeah.
And I loved it. And you get the special card and stuff like that when you go to when you buy your movie ticket. And that was just genius.
Yeah, right?
There's no way you could walk out of that movie theater and not be like, Pokemon!
Pokemon!
Man. The movie that I thought was the best one, though, was I forget the name of it, but it's the one that had Lugia in it.
Oh, 2?
I think that was 2, yeah.
The Pokemon 2000, the movie?
Yeah. Pokemon the movie 2000. That's the one. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I like that one.
I feel like Entei is most people's favorite, the third one.
Entei? Yeah.
I feel like that's most people's favorite.
I think
that might just because it was my older brother's favorite. So
yeah,
but I don't know if I watched anything past that one.
Yeah, no, those are the only 3 I watched. Pokemon first movie 2000, and what was the Entei one called? I don't remember.
Who knows? Either way, to segue our way out of Pokemon before we spend an hour talking about Pokemon.
I know just before we started the episode, we were like, we don't have anything to say about Pokemon. Yeah. We're just like, we're going to skip Pokemon because
it's just everyone talks about it. Come on.
But now we've talked about it for like 20 minutes already.
What I was originally saying is that I can go back and rewatch Pokemon. I think the first season is maybe a little cringy at times, but it's still a pretty good show.
Yeah.
And that I can enjoy it and just ignore the cringy aspects. Even if I notice them, I would rather just enjoy it with my nostalgia-filled self. Yu-Gi-Oh! I cannot do. Yu-Gi-Oh! Is garbage. Yu-Gi-Oh! Is real bad.
Yeah.
Yu-Gi-Oh! I tried to go back. And Twitch even did that marathon of Yu-Gi-Oh! And that was interesting to pop in. Because Twitch chat's like ridiculous.
Right.
But Yu-Gi-Oh! I can't handle the cutaways in Yu-Gi-Oh!
Yeah.
Because the draw of the episode is just like, you have activated my trap card, and then it cuts to every character and their mother like reacting.
Right.
Just like, oh my god, I can't believe you did this trap card. Oh man, I hope you can do it. It's like, Yugi, you will never succeed. Oh, but I will succeed. Oh no, you won't. Oh man, he's really scary.
Yeah.
And then proceed to play the next card, and then another 5 minutes of reaction shots.
Right. So,
Just isn't old.
Okay, so this is kind of a harder transition, but to, again, segueing our way out of Pokemon.
So natural, so smooth.
I really grew, or like my anime watching had grown with my age, and it related to other things that I was watching too, like besides anime, because, Toonami, you get home from school and Toonami's on, and so all those shows are going to be on, and then after Toonami's over, all the other shows that you're watching are also on, like SpongeBob and whatever.
All the Nickelodeon shows.
All the Nickelodeon shows. And Cartoon Network. Well, I was a big Cartoon Network watcher. So
I was too.
So when Adult Swim came out, when I was in high school, that's when I started watching, Samurai Champloo and Boba Bobo Boba Bo and what's another one? Cowboy Bebop. And stuff like that. So that's when I started watching some of those anime. And the interesting thing about that was that's when I was kind of exposed to different artistic styles of anime. Because the Toonami ones, not to say that they didn't have their own artistic styles, but they were more similar, or at least you didn't recognize that at that age, or whatever the case may be. But and the other biggest thing about like Cowboy Bebop, Cowboy Bebop and Samurai Champloo, were the music, like in like hip hop with Samurai Champloo, and then jazz with Cowboy Bebop. Yeah, and I was like a big percussionist, jazz drummer, hip hop drummer in high school, and so everything. Adult Swim just had everything that I wanted as a kid, as a high schooler. They had the funny shows like Tim and Eric's Awesome Show and stuff that I watched. Then right after that, Samurai Champloo would come on, and I'd be like, "Oh, this is just great."
That's an interesting juxtaposition because you see it. I don't think you've ever grown out of anime. I think you've grown with anime.
I've grown with it. Yeah.
I like dead cut. Like, I mean, Dragon Ball, Pokemon, all of it gone. I don't know what time span this was, like what age I happened to be. I don't remember specifically, but instead I watched Cartoon Network, and that might have been more like alongside of, but then then I'm on like the Disney Channel watching That's So Raven, when I'm a teenager and shit. But I had completely fallen off that wagon. Because, I mean, when you're a kid, you're never really on that wagon to begin with. Because it just seems like other cartoons to us. Right. So, there's not much of a difference in child me's mind of Toonami and Cartoon Network. It's all the same shit.
Yeah. It's not like you would watch Toonami and then once Toonami is over, you switch it from Cartoon Network. You continue watching that channel.
Yeah, it's all the same. And so I didn't watch any of the Adult Swim shows. Cowboy Bebop missed me. Shampoo missed me. All of those missed me. So, and I still haven't watched some of those. And I like Bebop. I know I need to watch, but
yeah.
But I transitioned more into, Western shows, I guess.
Right.
Shows that were more normal, quote unquote. Right. So, I watched the Disney Channel shows, and then as you grow up, then you're watching like actual TV shows like Scrubs or The Office, or
Yeah.
So, but it wasn't until a little over a year ago that I really got back into it, thanks to a certain somebody who shall not be named.
Yeah. Me.
We don't dare speak his name. But I think, what was the show you first recommended to me back then?
Oh,
was it My Hero?
No.
Are you sure?
I don't think so.
That's the first one I remember. It might not have been the first one you recommended, but it's the first one I remember. Because you're like, dude, you watch it. It's pretty dope. And then I watched it, and then I'm like, oh my fucking god!
No, it might have been. My Hero. I don't remember.
Yeah. Well, but My Hero wasn't even the first one. That just was the first one like you recommended. But for whatever reason, it wasn't on. It wasn't like available unless you went to Crunchyroll, and I had never used Crunchyroll before.
Right.
So I went on Netflix and looked at their shows, and they've got a decent selection.
Yeah.
So what my first show that really got me into anime was, other than My Hero, which was like around the next set of anime I watched that like cemented me in this camp of, oh my god, anime is amazing. I'm never leaving. This is comfortable. But Your Lie in April was my first one, I think. When I knew anime was anime, and I'm like, this is interesting. Like, this shows me what anime can be, you know? And so stylistic choices and influences are more apparent to me because I'm an adult. And, adult. But I think, and I got lucky, I think. I don't know why. I don't remember why I picked that one, but I got lucky because, like, it's pretty highly rated, and I absolutely loved it. It's still one of my top anime of all time. Right. And I even rewatched it recently, but that, I think I was fortunate for that to be my first show, because that was like, it had a decent dub, so it was an easy entry point for me. Because back then I never watched any sub shows, so I'm just like, this is like, that's a little weird for me. Like, I gotta like tip my toe in a little bit. So it had a good dub that was pretty decently voice acted, and it wasn't like super weird or super like, it wasn't one of those really like it wasn't one of those shows where like people against anime are just be like, the fuck is this weird shit? Right. But it was a show that like, and it was a show that got me into anime, and it made that style of anime one of the ones I go for. And but by that style, the style that's all about like the feel of a show, or like the emotion behind a show. Right. Because I'm also a shonen junkie. Like, I love my action set pieces. Yeah. I could live my life by My Hero Academia for the rest of my days. Right. But like good quality anime and like portraying the emotions like that show did, that blew my mind when I watched that show. I was like, out of all the shows I've watched from Western as a Western viewer, like that one like hit me like a rock.
Right.
I'm like, damn, this is some good shit.
Right.
This is some good weeb shit. And I'm just like, oh, this isn't bad.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Right. Yeah, it's such a great show. So that's one thing I want to talk about that you mentioned, having a good quality dub to it.
Mm-hmm.
What was your relationship with, or like, what was your experience with watching dubbed, and how did you kind of segue into watching, subbed anime, or what is your thoughts on watching subbed over dub, or do you have a preference, or
I do now. Well, actually, I guess I always did. Because before I got into anime, I'm a Western consumer, so I watched Pokemon in English, Dragon Ball Z in English, because it all got aired in English here, when I was a kid. So I've only watched stuff in English up to this point,
right, of
roughly a year ago point. So at that point, damn. Oh no!
Oops.
At that point, it was not me hating or not liking subs or Japanese. It was more that's a hard jump to make when you've never listened to it before. So that's why I went to a show that had an English dub,
right.
And I was just lucky that it had a good English dub.
Right. Pause for a second, because I just have to mention that this is our second episode now, and
See?
Exactly halfway through, just like last time, my cat...
I think knocked over the same box, too.
My cat always comes through and wrecks shit. So,
God damn it, Bagheera.
Maybe we should make it a regular thing. Hey, Bagheera.
Just time it. Just have a little one of those red cat laser mouses and just... Yeah. Come on. It's almost 25 minutes. Come on, Bagheera. Let's go.
Yeah. So,
you want me to finish?
Yes,
okay.
Continue.
Okay. So it wasn't that I hated subs. It was just that, I was used to, my ears are used to English, not Japanese. So
right.
I want dubs. And so making the jump into subs initially was weird. I didn't want it. I was like, eh.
Yeah.
Well, but then I pushed myself into it. I just forced myself because there's not a lot of dubs. So one of the, I don't know if it was the actual next show, but one of the next shows I watched was Kill la Kill back then, and I watched that all subbed.
Yeah.
And I quickly got used to it.
Right.
You very quickly get used to subs.
Absolutely.
And the moment you get used to it, subs, it's really hard to go back.
Yeah.
Only primarily because it is so hard to make a good dub.
Yes.
And I want to listen to it in English. I would love to listen to everything in English to a certain extent because it's just easier, so I can enjoy the picture more, so I can understand the context of everything more.
Right.
The weight of their emotions and their voices are more aligned to what I'm used to hearing, so that would fit better as a Western consumer. But it's just, they just can't. Oh, they just don't. It's so hard to do it right.
Right.
On multiple facets.
Yes.
On multiple facets.
I actually have a friend of mine named Phil, and hopefully we'll have him as a guest one of these days on this podcast. But he absolutely hates dubs. Won't ever watch any dub. All subs. And I kind of...
No justice for sub.
Yeah. I kind of get it. I get why he's like that, because most dubs are crappy.
Right.
most of them are. I hate to say it, but
yeah,
most of them are. But some of them are good, though.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of them are good. So you just got to give him a chance. But he's just not that type of person to, you know, like...
He's more of a purist. He's
Yes.
just like, I must enjoy it in its original form.
Right.
And any other form would be distasteful.
Right.
Ruining the original creation.
Right. But I was the same way, you know, because I was watching anime on Toonami and Adult Swim, it was going to be dubbed, you know. It just is. So I was used to that. And then when I started watching subs, it was hard to get used to. Well, actually, I wouldn't say it was hard to get used to, but there was a curve to it. You know,
yeah.
There did take...
It's more that initial jumping point. You're just like, this isn't English that I'm listening to. That there's just an initial, I don't know. The initial barrier is most the only thing you have to get past, because the moment you watch a couple episodes and you get used to it, you're just like, okay,
right,
all right, that's fine. But it's good.
Yeah.
But dubs can be good, but it's so hard to make a good dub, because I think there's two main reasons. There's more, but two main reasons is, one, a lot of the voice actors in English dubs fucking suck.
Yeah.
They blow, man.
Pretty awful, yeah.
I don't know who they're finding for these. Just the guy down the street who happens to speak English. I don't know, but I'm
sure it's mostly voice actors, you know, and they're used to doing cartoons. You know, they're used to doing like cartoons, so they always have some sort of wacky voice that doesn't sound real, you know. Like,
yeah, maybe.
That's my opinion anyway, but yeah, like, I'm pretty sure that most of them are like either video game voice actors
right.
or just cartoon voice actors, which both of those mediums don't have normal sounding characters.
True. You know? So. That's a good point. That's a real good point, because you're probably right about that. But but it's not true with all of them, because then you've got the whole reason I won't watch Dragon Ball Super right now is because I have to watch it in English.
Yeah.
I will not make the transition. It's too weird.
Yeah.
It's too weird.
Well, that's the reason that I don't watch dubs right now, is because they just take too long to come out. You know, like, I'm so ahead of the game when it comes to anime. We're watching simulcasts, you know, we're watching as it comes out in Japan, and I don't want to wait. You know, I'm not going to wait for a dub to come out. So it's Dragon Ball Z in particular, or Dragon Ball, that I can't make the switch. Right. It's too big of a gap for me. And nostalgia is probably part of it, but like going from Christopher Sabat as Vegeta, as just like that epic Vegeta voice, you know, to the Japanese one is. You have to do like a triple take. You're like, what the fuck am I listening to? It's true. It is a huge difference.
Yeah.
Like, a huge difference. But I did watch all of Dragon Ball Z subbed, you know, after, dubbed first, obviously, on Toonami. But after that, and this is going back to a time where I had made friends with a friend of mine who is half Japanese. Mm-hmm. His mom's white and his dad is Japanese, and he was into anime and stuff like that. And he introduced me to some older shows, like from like the early 90s. Late 80s, early 90s, and that was all subbed. And he was just like, "Oh, you should try Dragon Ball Z subbed," you know. And I was like, "Sure."
Yeah.
And it was weird, you know, like. And you hit the nail on the head with Vegeta. Yeah. His voice in particular was the biggest surprise or difference, you know. But I warmed up to it. I thought it was fine, you know, and I think that's why. And I mentioned this before about Black Clover, you know, like, and how everybody hates.
The English dub is almost out, I think, it is out, or it's starting to air, or something like that.
Yeah,
I might try it with the English dub.
Yeah,
because I've heard initial testing is that the English dub makes it a lot more bearable.
Yeah, see, but I'm just like, I'm kind of numbed. I've been numbed to that kind of thing from watching Dragon Ball Z. You know, like so.
You're numb to Japanese men yelling.
Yes. Right.
That's a good point.
So it's not as bad for me to, you know, like that's why I'm just like, what's your problem? It's not that bad. I mean, yeah, I understand why you think it's annoying, but come on, it's anime. Come on.
It's anime. Need I say more?
Right. That's anime.
Oh, that's good. But yeah, I just need a Funimation account.
Yeah.
Would I ever bother to get one or pay $5 for 1 month or whatever it is, right. And then I'll watch Super for a month.
Well, and that's the other reason, or that's another reason that I only watch sub now too. And there's so many reasons why I only watch subbed, and none of those reasons are that I like subbed more than dub, you know,
right.
in particular. But, you know, since Funimation and Crunchyroll merged or whatever, you know, so Funimation has all the dubs and then Crunchyroll has all the subs now. And I was like, I don't want to pay for 2 accounts, you know, right. So I got Crunchyroll because everything's going to come out first right. on Crunchyroll before it comes out on Funimation. So, so yeah,
which is big reason. when you're a simulcast watcher.
Yeah,
which seems just like a natural term, like sequence of events for me, because it happened for me really quickly.
Yeah,
because I looked up, like if you look at my Mal account, it's all rated very highly, except for some seasonal shows, because I handpicked what I watched very clearly.
Right.
So I've only, well, arguably, because some people will argue whether which show is this good or that good or good at all, you know.
Right.
But I've watched arguably at least until I watched seasonals, only good stuff.
Right.
I watched only high rated shit.
Yeah.
So it's conflated. I didn't just watch, and I'll never be the guy who'll watch all 40 shows in a season and just have all this dumpster fire crap on my Mal list because I'm gonna weed through it. You know, I'm not if a show looks like shit, then I'm just not gonna try it unless someone be like, hey, try that. Right. You know, it's pretty good.
Well, what about some of the older ones? Have you dabbled in some of the old early 90s, late 80s anime?
No. So I haven't gone. I think Gurren Lagann might be the oldest show I've watched.
And that's 2000?
Not including Dragon Ball Z and Pokemon, but
right.
It's 2007.
2007.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that's the oldest one I've watched, because everything else that is super highly rated is 2014, 2012, 2011, you know, all during the golden age and then post golden age of anime, you know.
Right. See, I watched, and I mentioned my friend who got me into the older stuff, and you like shonen, and I think that you would definitely like some of these old shows, because shonen was a big deal back then.
Yu Yu Hakusho.
Yu Yu Hakusho.
That's yeah. I forgot about that one because I went back and watched that. And I love that one particularly because Yu Yu Hakusho has always been in my mind since a kid, but I never knew what it was.
Right. You've heard people talking about it, but you didn't hear
it. I told you about this because then I found it. And I'm like, holy shit, Doc, I found it.
Yeah.
There was, I don't remember when it started, but there was always a scene I could vividly remember. An anime scene I could vividly remember of some red-haired punk being really small and getting picked up and crushed.
Yeah.
In a hand. And you could hear the bones crunching.
Yes.
I vividly remember that.
Yeah.
For so long. And then it was last... Oh, I could probably pull up the Facebook post because I think I found it on Facebook and I was like, holy shit.
Yeah.
But it was probably last March or something. And I'm and on Facebook, randomly, it was an advertisement for Yu Yu Hakusho being on Crunchyroll or something.
Mm.
and I saw the red guy, and I'm like, that's it!
Yeah.
That's fucking it!
That's the show! Yeah.
And I immediately just, like, stopped everything I was doing and watched that whole show. And it was so good.
Yeah. So
it's
that
so good.
one is really good.
Oh, yeah.
Rurouni Kenshin is really good.
That is on Netflix now? I think Netflix just got that, right?
Might be. Yeah, I think
someone
it is.
got it. Someone just
did.
got it. Netflix or Hulu just got it.
Yeah. That one. Fist and North Star.
Is that the one you showed me?
No. I think maybe Flame of Recca was the one that I showed you, which is the next one I was going to mention. Flame of Recca. Maybe. All of those are really good ones, you know. Yeah. And they all have that similar kind of shonen-esque, you know, like feel to it, and they're really good. And yeah, you should definitely give those a shot. Yeah. You would like, if you liked Yu Yu Hakusho, you'll definitely like Kenshin, especially.
Yeah. Okay. I'll try Kenshin. Yeah, I know. If it's more like Yu Yu Hakusho, I probably will like it because I think Yu Yu Hakusho is like a really good classic shonen. Like the quality of that anime is surprising for how old it is. Yeah. I mean, that's got a weird context to how I said that, but I don't watch much shonen. Well, like I don't like Naruto much. I never watched Bleach, and I'll never get into Bleach, especially because I hear it just got crazy and shitty pretty fast. So a lot of like the quote-unquote more modern shonens I'm not into. Right. Other than the big one like Dragon Ball Z, Hunter x Hunter. Yes. I probably would like JoJo's when I finally sit down and watch it.
JoJo is good.
But Yu Yu Hakusho is one of my favorites of all time. Yeah. Partially for the reason for that like absurd random how I found it, but I think it, even though it was older, it was structured and built and written so much better than like the modern shows. Yeah. Maybe just because it wasn't trying to force filler, because I don't think that show has much filler. No, I don't think it like much of any filler. Right. As opposed to literally every shonen ever, other than My Hero, I guess. Right. Just because My Hero's airing in a way specifically to avoid filler. Right. But yeah, I would probably like that. I would probably like those shows if they're more like Yu Yu Hakusho than they are the others.
Yeah, they're really good. My personal favorite of those four I mentioned is Flame of Recca. Personally, most people would say Yu Yu Hakusho, but Flame of Recca just resonated with me in a way.
What was Flame of Recca about?
Flame of Recca is about this kid who starts competing in these like fighting tournaments or whatever, and he I'm trying to remember if he was like bullied or something like that before, but classic, he finds somebody who teaches him some special technique or whatever, and he ends up fighting a bunch of people in tournaments and things like that. But I don't know, typical shonen. Yeah. So it's pretty good though.
It wasn't necessarily like out there in its concept, but its execution was good. Yeah. Like Yu Yu Hakusho. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Definitely. I feel you. So let me ask you this, Doc. I have a more clear example because I was very hard cut out of anime in anime. Just like an instant.
Dropped it, picked it back up.
Right. So my Your Lie in April example is more clear cut. But what if you had to name one show that was like opened your mind and it was just like, holy shit, this is what anime can do. This is how special this medium is. Yeah. Opposed to any others. What would that one show be?
That's a difficult question.
That's what I was aiming for.
Just because there's so many that I've watched, or I've been watching anime for such a long time. Mm-hmm. it's hard to pinpoint that moment. But I know which one I want to say, but I feel like I would think of another one after thinking about it for a while. But Death Note was definitely one.
Of course, that was probably the first thing you recommended to me.
Maybe, yeah. I think that would probably be the one because I'm
willing to bet I watched Death Note before Your Lie in April. Maybe after. I don't know. Around the same time because that was definitely the one you first recommended to me.
But that's the one that was like, you know, you got something out of that show that you could get out of any show. You know, like you got out of that show what you could get from, you know, the best, you know, regular TV show, you know, that's out there, like drama series or whatever.
Right.
Know? And I was like, I didn't know that anime could be like this.
Right.
You know, that's what that moment was for me. You know, like I don't know if it was the one that opened my eyes to anime, but it's the one that was like, wow, I never thought I would see something like this in anime, you know? Yeah. And it was probably just because I hadn't been introduced to a lot of anime like that, but just the drama in it, like with no action. It's a very
intense
you know,
show.
Like there's no action, but you can still be like on the edge of your seat, you know? Like, man, that one really hit home, you know?
Yeah.
It's definitely in my top 3 of anime I ever watched all time. So,
which I'm not surprised.
Yeah,
I'm not surprised because I remember now that it's definitely the one you shilled first.
Yeah,
it's like, dude, Death Note's so good. It's fucking masterpiece.
Yeah, and the music, just like from the very first moment, like when that book falls on the ground, and then and you see Light Yagami's eyes like looking at the book like and you're just like, yeah, it's on.
Yeah,
you know, it's really cool.
It's on. Cue action music. Yeah. I felt very similar about Your Lie in April, just because what struck me about that show as being particularly is what it like particularly exemplified of what anime could be, you know, and could do, and how it could like pull emotions out of you. Is it's music scenes, like in the concert part. If you ever watch it, it's the second half. You'll know exactly what I'm talking about. The music scenes where the main character and a couple rivals are playing their set pieces and like evoking emotion out of the crowd. Those are crafted so phenomenally. Like those, like I've never been much of a music guy. Like I'm the guy who'll just flick on the pop radio and just listen. I've never really been like a listener. It's just been like a passive thing for me. It just
active listening.
Yeah, exactly. So it's just there to be background noise for the most part.
Right.
But oddly enough, like their music anime are some of my favorite anime, just because, you know, it can open your eyes to how much like emotion is inside of that,
right?
And how much it helps convey said emotion, you know.
Right.
So if you ever watch those shows, or if you ever watch Your Lie in April, and you see that second half, especially where you see those set pieces of them performing, those are good. Those strike really hard at your emotions.
Yeah.
And I'm like, all right.
Right.
Anime is interesting. I dig it.
So there's another show that really that I would consider to be one of my an influential one for me, that influenced me to watch more anime and to get more into it. And it wasn't the only one or the first one, you know, but Afro Samurai was one that was like it was special to me, you know, like that one was.
Was that a late airing show? Like late at night airing show?
Yeah. I think it was on Adult Swim at one point in time.
Because I remember like watching a couple episodes when I was younger and loving it.
Yeah.
But for some reason I could never watch that much of it. Mm-hmm. So I like only in passing watched a couple episodes.
Right.
Or snippets of episodes,
Yeah. I thought it was really cool mostly because it had, a voice in it that was already someone that I respected, as an actor and as a person.
L, right?
And that's Samuel L. Jackson. Yeah. And how he is two characters in it. He's both.
Is he?
Yes. He's both Afro Samurai and he's Afro Samurai's alter ego. The guy that only he can see.
Oh,
He
yeah.
has gray hair.
Yeah.
And he talks crazy, so that's like the crazy talking Samuel L. Jackson. And then there's the like somber, like serious Samuel L. Jackson,
Yeah.
And I thought that was really cool.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was really influential because they got a popular, American actor to voice act this anime, and I think that's one of the things that propelled anime in the Western world. That's one of the animes that really pushed anime forward in the Western world, in my opinion.
It was like Pokemon, then Dragon Ball, Afro Samurai.
Yeah, I don't know if it was as. I don't know if
not
that one was as influential,
sure,
but it was as influential, but in a different way.
Yeah,
I think. So like the other two, like Dragon Ball Z and Pokemon, those were big, just because of franchise wise. It's because of the toys and the gear and all the stuff that came with it. That's what made Pokemon and Dragon Ball Z so huge. But this one was like, it's a little bit more subtle in the way that it's influential. Like, here's black people, in anime, with this hip hop kind of feel to it. Here's hip hop. This is hip hop anime now.
Yeah.
And that's one way. And then making Samuel Jackson in it, that's another way that it really said, hey, this is for Westerners too.
It kind of in a way, it kind of validates the medium in the West. Just because it was a small way because anime still isn't like hugely popular over here. Like it's still not. There's still a lot of dissenting. Anime is weird and is a bunch of weird shit. But it at least partly validated anime by connecting it to like a household name. You get who's one of the best actors right now.
The person that plays Goku's voice is pretty popular. Well, no.
No, I mean like Western actor.
Oh, just
movie
an
actor. Yeah.
I don't know, like anybody really.
One of the Chris's, one of the 10 Chris's that right now. Like you get one of them to voice like the next season of whatever.
Yeah.
Then, boom, like that. That costs too much money to do, of course, but
right.
That kind of connection kind of can validate it for the younger audiences, which will influence the rest.
Yeah, definitely.
So that at least in some way does it, and that one just did it for a different audience,
right?
Than Dragon Ball and the rest would.
Mm-hmm.
Like it just had a more. Maybe more niche audience, I suppose.
Right.
Because, of course it was more niche because it wasn't as big as Dragon Ball, so it didn't catch on as...
Right.
As, as it would, but...
Another reason that Afro Samurai was special to me was it was one of the first anime that I watched that was really gory, that had a lot of blood and guts and stuff, and I was like, It's like, ooh, this is.
It's like I'm
they can show
up.
this on TV.
I didn't realize I was this fucked up.
Yeah.
Ooh, this is good shit.
Yeah, I mean, I like that stuff. You know, it's what's the word I'm looking for? It's daring, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's like, oh, dare you watch this?
That's gonna be. You realize that's gonna be Netflix anime now. All the Netflix anime, anime that gets released on Netflix with the Netflix tag, it's all gonna be quote unquote daring.
Yeah.
Did you watch Devilman yet?
Yes.
All of it?
No, I think I watched like 8 episodes, maybe.
Oh, well, there's only 10.
So yeah, I'm almost all of it. Yeah.
But just the first episode, you're like, holy Jesus Christ.
Tits and drugs.
And
blood.
He's just like stabbing people with a broken bottle. And just like, whoa, hey, what am I getting into? But yeah, that's I'm not surprised. Yeah, that's I don't think that's a path for me. I've never been much for
the gory stuff.
Yeah, the gory stuff. I'm a lighthearted individual, you know. I just want some. I just want a good old romp and like a Field of Daisies, you know.
Yeah. See, but the way that they did it in Afro Samurai was just so cool. You know, it was like this serious guy, and it's like, this is what happens when you fuck with this guy. Mm-hmm. You know, it's like. And it's like, I feel like it couldn't be any other way. You know, like if it wasn't gory and stuff like that, then it wouldn't be as, you know, oh, you fucked with the wrong dude, you know?
I remember not being off-put about it when I was younger. So,
yeah.
I don't remember enough of it to like talk about it, but it would probably be, if it didn't bother me as a kid, it probably wouldn't bother me now as much as like gory horror does.
You know why I think I am so used to gore and stuff like that is that I started watching rated R movies and stuff like that at a very, very young age.
Really?
Yes. And like nudity, you know, like in movies and stuff like that. I was exposed to that at a very young age. So, you know, most people don't watch rated R movies until they're teenagers, you know. And I was like, you know, I remember a particular time, actually. I was like 8 or 9 maybe. And I had a bunch of family in town. And we all went to go see a movie. The adults went to go see their movie. And all the kids went to go see the Tigger movie. Mm-hmm. I remember it was the Tigger movie.
Nice.
I was a little too old for the Tigger movie. Like I didn't think that it was cool, but I went so that my little cousins had some supervision. So I was like babysitting them, basically watching the Tigger movie.
Right.
Then after that was done, we all ended up. The adult movie started after the Tigger movie started, and it went longer. And that movie was Any Given Sunday. If you know that movie, it's got like Jamie Foxx and Al Pacino. It's a football movie. And Dennis Quaid. That was the movie that the adults went to go see, and there's a little bit of nudity in it, you know, and a lot of cussing. So like, we went in there after our movie. We were just like, oh well, I don't know what to do, you know. So I was like, hey, you guys wait here. I'm gonna go.
Okay, I was gonna say, are you gonna lead all the kids in there? And everyone's just like, oh.
So I go in, and as soon as I walk in, it's like the locker room scene, and all these guys' dicks are out, and I'm like, ah. You know, and I'm like covering my eyes, like going up the stairs and like trying to look for my parents, you know, and it was weird. But there was that. But my parents let me watch that stuff, you know. Like, they would still let me watch that stuff. Like, Blade and stuff. I saw that when I was young, you know. When it, like, first came out, you know.
Yeah.
And it was the shit. Titanic, you know. I was, like, 6, you know, when that came out. And I went to the movies to see that. And really? It was
It'd be a little risque for a 6-year-old.
Yeah. It was devastating for me, actually.
Yeah, really.
It was my first experience watching people die, like, in mass numbers. Like, I cried.
Really?
I cried pretty
Yeah.
bad. My dad had to take me out of the theater. I was like 6, you know?
Yeah,
So
I don't believe you.
It was crazy.
Yeah, no, that's a interesting difference in our childhoods, because I was raised in a Christian household. I was raised around a whole bunch of Christianity, you know?
Yeah.
So, and like when I was young, it was even to the point where, even though I don't think my parents fully believed it, they did it more out of obligation, but like I wasn't even allowed to trick or treat because they thought it was like praising the devil.
Yeah.
That's what Halloween was. It was the praising demons and shit. And
were you allowed to watch Harry Potter?
I was old. We were out of it by then.
Oh, okay.
I think.
Yeah.
Because I was old enough. I was old enough that at that point that. When did Harry Potter come out? What year was that?
98? Or no, 2001. 2000? Something like that.
Is it that old?
Yeah, pretty sure.
Dear God.
Well, you're talking about the book or the movies?
The movies.
The movies, I want to say 2012, 2001 or 2000, or 2001 or 2002. I mean.
Right. Oh, then
the books came out in 98.
Then
that was the first book.
I don't know if that was I don't know if they had a problem with Harry Potter, because Harry Potter doesn't have any distinctly religious or anti-religious.
It doesn't
subtext.
It doesn't. But
it doesn't have any demons or anything.
Right, but there was a huge lashing out of religious people against Harry Potter for some reason. You know,
why?
I think it was just about witchcraft and magic and stuff like that. That people were like, oh, you're not allowed to experience that,
Weird.
I had a couple of friends that their parents were like, yeah, my parents won't let me watch Harry Potter.
Well, and we never tried, to be fair. I don't. So they might not have let me back then, because I didn't realize it came out so long ago. But I don't think we ever tried.
Yeah, and
that might just be, in essence, because we never saw it, or it just didn't appeal to us. But I don't know. But yeah, it didn't feel very restrictive like when I was younger, but it clearly maybe they were just really good at hiding it, because I haven't seen as much shit as most other people.
Yeah,
and that's just because we were kind of being in a nice little religious bubble.
Right.
And we're all safe here. And then we were 13 and we're like, poke.
Yeah. So, so what would you say made you receptive to anime? Like, why do you think you liked it so much? Why did you like, when you first watched these shows, what particular quality was it that attracted you to anime?
Came back with a good question. I like it. See, well, I mean, I might just echo myself here from what I said earlier, but it's even hard to identify now that I've watched more and then that I actively analyze more and I listen to analytic perspectives more, but it's a hard thing to grasp and quantify. But a lot of what initially pulled me into anime over a year ago was just the way it conveyed emotion.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've been thinking about this lately because I've been thinking about how I analyzing videos and the fact that I don't know enough about directing to analyze the directing of a show,
Yeah.
In that aspect, but to me, as I was thinking about it, to me the most important thing that I pull out of anime is the emotion and the feelings of it,
Right.
Does it have a theme that resonates with me, how how well does like a set piece like make you swell up with pride or just like fuck yeah,
right?
Yeah. So like that's why, and I don't know if that's I already had that value and I just got lucky with Your Lie in April, or if Your Lie in April like instilled that in me,
right?
In like what I like in anime. Maybe it's a little bit of both, but Your Lie in April and I mean a lot of the earlier shows just had excellent. It just showed me that anime, I think, conveys themes and emotions like, I don't know. To me, it seems more powerful than our stuff in the West,
right?
Because I like a lot of shows and TV like movies, and I could name some that like are like resonate with me or like are in my top 10 movies of all time or whatever, but not since that point in anime when I started watching anime did something like hit me so hard, that I could connect with,
right?
And I don't know exactly why that is. What if it's the animation itself or the or just the way it's generally put together. I don't know what there's just like an intangible quality there that makes it impact me so much more,
right?
And that's where it impacts you the most is the emotions. So
right.
being able to, I have not cried, and I don't really like bawl, but like I tear up a little bit, like I'm like,
yeah, you well up,
yeah. I have quote unquote cried infinitely more times in the last year of anime than I have in the last 23 years of my life.
Yeah.
Of any other medium.
Mm.
There's some movies that I well up to.
Mm.
And there are a lot of TV shows that I fucking adore.
Mm.
But only anime has hit me that hard.
Right.
And now, like how do you leave after that? How do you leave after something's like grabbed and like torn your heart apart and then stitched it back together?
Yeah.
All in the same episode. How do you leave that medium?
Right. Yeah. I feel you there. So the thing that gravitated me towards anime were the main character, and it's because of particular anime that I had watched at that time, just first getting into it. There was always this main character that was super pure and super like just a great person, somebody that you could look up to. Mm-hmm. And that's what led me to it, like, because it's hard to get that in a lot of Western TV shows and stuff like that. There's usually always like some sense of like dirtiness, or like bad, like nobody's perfect, like right. Nobody's perfect. They always do. He has like the main character has a bad past or something like that, and he used to do bad things, but he's trying to make up for it.
Right.
That's like the kind of TV, like Western TV show kind of thing. But anime was just like, this guy is all around good guy. Like he's do no wrong, and he's just an awesome person, and you can achieve such great things just by being nice,
right.
And
so
I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, really, that I admired that so much, because I kind of wanted me to be that way,
right.
Like I want to be, I try to be the nicest person that I can, and I think that allows me to do great things, and to do really cool things, but but it also kind of gets me away from that point of, that nobody's perfect,
Yeah.
And there's always things you can work on. There's always flaws, you can work on and
right.
stuff like that.
But
yeah,
like in a writing or like technical standpoint, I think a lot of people would argue that the flawed character is the better character.
Yeah.
And I say that with restraint, like better is subjective, I suppose. But
sure.
But just because there's more dynamism there, there's more dynamic. So, but I'm kind of with you on that to a certain extent, because that's why I hate insert characters. You know, a lot of, you know what I'm talking about in anime?
Not sure.
Insert characters, or that might not be exactly what they're called, but it's just a blank slate. The blank slate character.
Yeah.
The one that you're supposed to superimpose yourself onto.
Right.
Rather than being a character himself.
Right.
I don't like that. I think that's fucking stupid.
Yeah.
Because I am appealed to a similar thing you are in that way, that I want someone I can look up to.
Right.
Like, I don't want to superimpose myself into the show because, like, I suck. Like, I want somebody that I can look up to and, like, who can inspire me to be better.
Right.
Right? Because the insert characters are just like, I'm okay with myself, so, you know, I'll just insert myself into this character, and now I have a harem of ladies around me, and that's cool, I guess.
Right.
Or you have this, like, awe-inspiring character who's just, like, this beacon of badass justice that you're just like, I want to be you, dude.
Right.
I, like, your sense of justice is dope.
Right.
You know, and so, like, that is infinitely better to me.
Yeah.
Is to have someone you can draw from rather than push onto. Right?
Yeah. And okay, so I remember talking about this show with you because I have an example of exactly that thing where it's that character that you just look up to.
Mm-hmm.
And it's interesting because it also falls under that category of older anime that's shonen, like older shonen anime. But that is Kenichi, the Mightiest Disciple.
Right, which
I told you about that one.
You recently showed me the first episode.
Yeah. I love that show, and I love that character, you know, because he works really hard, and he's just genuinely a great person, you know, and his sense of justice is just great, you know, and he got bullied and beat up a lot and stuff like that, and he works super hard, and he's able to beat all of these, like, you know, really high level martial artists with the most basic moves, you know, just because he works so hard, you know, and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
It's like one move. It's just like, oh, I just did this basic level one move perfectly, and it thwarted this champion boxer, you know, like I love that, you know.
Yeah.
It's great. It's like, or that shows small, like, little people doing big things, you know. That's another thing. Like, he's a small
shows
guy.
the possibilities, right?
Yes.
So you're just like, it's just like, anything. I can do whatever. Yeah, exactly.
I love that that idea. You can do anything you want, you know.
And maybe that's one of the reasons that anime appeals to us in particular and has a subset, no matter how, like, quote unquote unpopular it is in the West, is that it might just be that we come to connect with the ideals and, like, moral's not the right word, the ideal and values of that that Japanese tradition holds at a high standard, you know. Because
I personally identify with those values sometimes more than I identify with a lot of Western values.
Yeah, and I wish I could, because now I'm putting too much pressure on myself because I'm trying to think of a clear example of a Western value as opposed to a Japanese value. But there are distinct differences on, like, what we put value on in like how you are as a person, you know, or how you are in society. And there's a lot to what Japanese hold in high regard that I think connects with us and so many people a lot higher than the standard Western affair.
Right.
I think, I don't know, that might be a bigger reason than we realize a lot of the times, just because that can kind of be subtextual. It's just like, you know, those values influence like the character and the world around him.
Right.
But we're just like, you're a good guy. But like, what value is he upholding to be a good guy?
Right.
You know?
Right.
But yeah.
Yeah, you know, I think that's why I also am really into kung fu movies. You know, like it's almost the same reason that I like kung fu movies, that I like, you know, like that, because, you know, like Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, you know, like, and what's his name, Chow Yun-fat's character, I forget his name in the movie, but the actor's name is Chow Yun-fat. But he's just a great guy, you know, and he's like the nicest person, and he's a master, you know. He's like one of the strongest, or, you know, like one of the most skilled, you know, martial artists in the world, and he has the legendary sword of, you know, whatever, that, you know, like that, you know, I identify with that, and his values, you know, of like, I don't know, like there's a lot of values in there that you would kind of equate with like Buddhism, you know, and stuff like that as a religion, and like, and I identify with that a lot. Like, I've actually studied a little bit of Buddhism and stuff like that, and I'm not a religious person, you know, really at all. But, you know, there's certain values in different religions that I, you know, combine together to, you know, be something that I believe or view to be right. There's little pieces of each one, and, you know, like I grab a lot of stuff from Buddhism, you know, to form my views, you know. And that's why I like kung fu movies. And I think that there's a lot of anime that are kind of that same way too. That Eastern, like kind of Eastern tradition. And stuff
those
like
Eastern influences are strong.
Have you ever watched any Chinese anime?
No, not a one.
I've never watched one all the way through, but I've watched a few episodes of this one that Yins, you know, Yins, he recommended to me, and it was pretty cool. And it was mostly, you know, fighting like that, like kung fu. It was like an animated kung fu movie, basically. Okay. But it was pretty neat. But yeah,
did it have similar? Did it feel the same as a Japanese anime? One?
No, it didn't. Maybe just because of you could tell that they weren't speaking Japanese, you know, they're speaking Chinese. But, and it made it weird. You know, I'd never watched anything like that before, you know, so. But I was used to watching, you know, kung fu movies subtitled, so I guess it wasn't that weird, but no, I don't think that they were too similar to Japanese anime.
Yeah. Nice.
Yes, sir. So.
You got anything else?
What was that?
Got anything else? Any other big anime moments you want to talk about before we conclude?
Before we wrap up? I do want to talk about some more moments. Because there's so many.
Let's just never stop. It's going to be a 5-hour podcast. Here, let me say something.
Yeah.
What do you think? Just because I have to get it out there, because I've already sprinkled it into conversation a little bit, and this is going to be deserving of its own podcast. But the second show that fully like cemented me into anime, it was fucking My Hero Academia.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I love this show. The main character and like just that whole aspect of that thing of like you can achieve small, your dream,
being powerless, but being able to, but still being able to do big things.
Right. It's such a it resonates with me so hard, and that show looks beautiful. It's good. Yeah. It's real good. Like that show needs its own podcast because it has become my favorite show.
Yeah.
Like, just because I resonate so hardly with it, and and then you get like your shonen junkie fix with it because it's fucking awesome.
Yeah. So I just thought of another show then that particular quality with the you can do anything hits home, and this isn't really the same as like being powerless, because this guy's he was already skilled, and he's known to be skilled with a lot of video games, but Sword Art Online is like a great one.
Hey, Doc, we're on the internet. You can't say anything good about Sword
Art Online.
No, let's stop this now.
I hate that people hate on Sword Art Online. I really do.
We can't be nice to Sword Art Online, Doc.
Yes, we can.
We're gonna be shamed out of existence.
I hate that. Sword Art Online made me cry.
Really?
It did, yeah. I woke up.
At what point? Trying to think of the sad moments.
When okay, so it's the point where Asuna and Kazuto's like love is like really solidified at this point, and it's when that guy that's in the in that faction that Asuna was originally part of, like the Red Knight Guild or something like that. I forget what it's called. That guy ends up trapping Kazuto like in the desert somewhere, and like
you mean in between the canyons?
Yeah, in the canyons. It comes real close to killing him, and then Asuna like somehow realizes that he's in trouble and finds him and saves him, and then after that they're just like, we love you, I love you, and you're like, I'm like, yeah,
really,
yeah,
nice.
Made me well up, man. I liked that show. I understand why a lot of people didn't like it.
I did too.
You did too?
Yeah, no, I liked it. I'm not a hater.
I'm not a hater. I do get why a lot of people don't like it.
I recognize its faults.
Yes, I recognize its faults, but I just can't hate on it that much.
There's still something inherently enjoyable about it.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, you could proclaim that the characters suck, like the writing sucks, the story sucks. Like, you can proclaim that all this is like bullshit and doesn't make any sense and it's boring and stupid, but like, clearly it's not all that bad.
Yeah.
Just with the level of fame it got and success.
Yeah.
And even like understanding the analytical aspects to it that are poor, I still enjoy it. I still like the show.
Yeah.
Like it's still a fun show to watch. Like for me, see, I'm gonna say one thing for both sides of the coin with this show, real quickly. One, the bad side. First arc should have been twice the length. So fucking stupid that they ended the 100 level Ironcrad in 12 episodes.
Yeah.
So stupid.
Yeah.
The most inherently interesting part of the show, they cut off way too fast.
Right.
Because then the second half of the first season fucking sucks.
Right.
And I mean, it doesn't. I don't know. There's a lot of that one. I have a lot of more issues with than any other part of the show. But that's my gripe.
Yeah.
Second half sucks. First half should have been 24 episodes because that was so cool. Right. Him being in a video game.
In the dungeon.
Yeah,
in the dungeons.
Grinding, each boss was like a level up and interesting.
Yeah.
Like, just continue that. Make that, serialize that for 24 episodes, and that'd be so cool.
Right. I agree with you there. But, see, and this is the thing. It's like, I've never been a really analytical viewer of anime. I've never really been super analytical. It's been all just like, just watching, and it's like, first impressions, do you like it, do you not like it?
Right.
And that's how I've always been. And like, it's not till recently, like hanging out with you that I've even, really looked at anime with an analytical eye like that.
Yeah.
And I feel like the analytical eye is the one that will not like Sword Art Online.
Right.
But
it's which one's more prominent in your psyche, I think.
Right.
Because like I'm both, if that makes sense. Like I don't necessarily watch with an analytical eye. Like the reason, like I can watch a show, like I think it's better for me to watch a show by myself, just because like I have my headphones on, I close off, and then I fully envelop myself in the show, whether it be good or bad. I just give the show my all, my entire focus, and just accept what it's giving me.
Right.
And then, you know, if it's good or bad or atrocious, cough Black Clover.
Right. Shut up.
So I fully accept what I get, and I keep an open mind when I watch.
Right.
While I'm watching, I'll have an open mind because a lot of problems other people have with a lot of shows, I don't have the same problem, just because I tend to accept the show's logic more often than other people do. Right. So I very rarely have a point where this ruined my sense of disbelief, you know?
Right.
But after the fact, I'm interested in the analytical point. Like, what I'm interested in is when I'm enveloped in the show and it fucking hits me like a truck. Like, why?
Yeah.
So, the obvious reason why is like, the themes, you know, resonate with me, like, of the main character, you know?
Right.
There's like, little guy trying to do big things, you know? It's like, you can do anything you want. Gurren Lagann, you know? Okay, so the theme is something that resonates with me, you know? So, even though I'm not good at it, you know, it can be interesting to hear someone talking about, oh, well, see, this directing trick is why it's like part of the reason this like sold itself so well. You know, this emotional scene was put in this frame, and that's why it, you know, it conveyed said emotion. You know, that can be interesting.
Right.
If you going back and be like, oh yeah, that fucking soundtrack, of course I welled up when it was fucking played that piano ballad, and I'm like,
yeah.
But so that's how I tend to do it. You know, I tend to just accept a show while I'm watching it, and then I tend to get analytical afterwards, because when I watch, I just like,
right,
I'm in the zone.
Yeah, and that's the other reason that I don't like to watch anime with an analytical eye, is because in order to be really analytical, or in order to really form adequate opinions about anime and from an analytical perspective, you have to watch it multiple times.
Right.
And I'm willing to bet that a lot of people don't. You know, like a lot of people that are getting on Mal and saying, oh, this sucks and that sucks, I bet they only watched it one time. You know?
Right.
And I'm just like,
sure.
Oh, you really have an opinion? Like,
no, that's for sure,
like
because I hate that the most about Mal. Like I could rant about Mal a little bit, because I've been perusing or I don't know. I've been on their forum a bit. And like where I'm going on and I'm like trying to like actually talk about something or like have a discussion, you know, I'd be like, give my 2-paragraph thing about why this scene in an episode was fucking awesome, you know, and how much my heartstrings got fucking shattered. But then other people are just like, main character is a beta male cuck.
Yeah.
Gone. I'm like,
yeah.
What do you do? What?
Yeah. Shut the fuck up.
This is ridiculous. You're an idiot. Why are we doing this?
Yeah.
So I agree with you. It's very, there's not a lot of understanding behind people's opinions. It's just like that quick opinion, you know, first impression, like, you know.
Right. I definitely feel that.
I think it's and this just because we do it this way, I think it's better to watch a show, at least when you first watch it, unanalytically. I wouldn't watch a show. I don't want to watch a show and like force myself apart from it, you know?
Yeah.
I did, like, you know, just having a notepad, be like,
right.
Oh, pause. Like,
right.
If I'm trying to analyze why a scene made me feel that way afterwards, sure.
Right.
But when I'm trying to watch a show, like, there's no better way than to just envelop yourself in that show. The same way,
immerse yourself and just let yourself take it all in.
Right.
Don't block yourself from taking it in just by certain things.
The same way I'm starting to realize, like, or like personally feel music can be to people, you know, is like if you have it more than just background noise and just like let it wash over you, and like so you can like feel the emotion it's trying to convey. Yeah, like there's a lot of value there, you know, rather than just like it being noise in the background. Yeah, see, I'm really it's glad. Not just a pluck plang. It's, there's a feeling behind it. You know,
there's the artist is conveying a message even with music. You know, like and. Even if it doesn't have lyrics, you know, like even if it's instrumental music, there's a message behind it. It's music.
Even, and that's the thing is, I never, like with music, I would refuse to listen to something that doesn't have lyrics, because for me, if I'm just listening to it as background noise mostly, I need the lyrics to connect to. Right. You know, I need something more obvious, more upfront.
Right. Most like, people do because you have to have
because it's clearer.
Yeah. Like I mean, a musician has the ear to pick up on certain things that are happening in the music. You know, and like, and I don't know how we got on. We're talking about music now, and like, see, like. You bring up music to a music guy, and I can just run with it. But
stay tuned tomorrow for the I'm just a musician podcast.
But yeah, like musicians can pick up on certain qualities, or not qualities, but actual physical things that are happening in the music, or because there's names for everything. You know, there's concepts in music that you have to have taken a theory class in order to understand. You know, like. Speed, like the speed of a music is a lot, you know, like if you're doing something allegro is like 120, 130 beats per minute. And there's already, just from that alone, there's a message behind that. There's an attitude about that music just from the speed of the music.
And I'm going to cut in real quick, is I don't think you even need the theory class. Yeah. I think you need it to fully understand it. Right. The same way you need to learn what good directing is to be able to understand why this shot of two doors means anything. Right. You know, like you need to understand the concept there.
Why is this a close up? Why is this a medium shot?
What are they conveying here? You know, but like with music, I can. If I just let a soundtrack, like if I just like accept nothing in except the music, like I can still get the feelings behind it, you know. Just because I might not be able to be like, oh, this is Allegro 130, and that's why I'm feeling sad or excited, you know. Right. It still conveys that emotion. It's just
you can
like
feel it.
Right.
You can feel that.
Right. Or the reason a soundtrack like makes me feel melancholic or something. It's just like, just because it's conveying and, you know, in my brain space. Right. Firing off the right neurons, you know. Being like,
yeah, that's what a lot of people don't realize too. Is like, and this is how we can relate this back to anime. Yeah. Is that, you know, shit sounds good for a reason, you know, like it physically sounds good to you for a reason. And it's not because you're smarter than anybody else, you know, and you're able to pick out these things. It just sounds good. It just sounds good. So like when you watch a show, you don't have to pick out all these things like, oh, the main character is this and that, and I don't like the character development of this. Mm-hmm. You know, you don't need that. It can be good. Just watch it. You know, like just watch it and be playing about it.
Yeah, you can kind of get the sense of the show without being able to fully understand it or explain it. Yeah, and that's why I like got into like thinking or like researching more analytically, is because that frustrated me. So I wanted to understand why, you know. Right. But you don't need to. Like if a show speaks to you, there's a reason, you know. There's something, you know. There's a reason Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood is #1 on Mal, right? Because even if you can't say anything more than the main character's fucking badass and the story's awesome, you know, and the animation's fucking dope. Yeah. Even if you can't say anything deeper than that, like the only reason you feel it, the only reason you think the animation is dope is because maybe the directing, like, and storyboard set it up to like sell itself so well. Right. If those things weren't the same thing, but the simple animation quality was the same, you wouldn't say the animation was dope, you know. Right. Just because you don't fully understand the whole picture doesn't mean you're not grasping it. Right. You know, you're not getting what it's selling.
You're not picking up what it's. You're picking. Yeah, you are picking up what it's. You know what it's trying to convey, what it's putting across, without having a full understanding of it.
Right. Yeah. Right. I mean, yeah. Which is why, like I said, I think it's better to just envelop yourself in the show. Yeah. And that's you know, that's why I got into anime. Is just to just enjoy. Yeah. To enjoy the show.
It's an escape, man. Yeah. Like anime is an escape for me.
More so than any other medium. Yeah. But it's an empowering escape. Yeah. It's not like sit and play World of Warcraft in the middle of the night, like for the rest of your life in your mom's basement. It's not that kind. It's not that kind of escape. It's kind of a empowerment to our own reality. You know. Yeah. It's cool.
You can take some of the concepts in anime and you can try and apply them to how you are as a person and how you interact with other people and all that kind of thing. You know? Yeah. That's really cool. Yeah. Yeah. So before we end, I just want to say something to you viewers out there. We're going to be starting an Instagram page. So you can like us, follow us on that. I don't know what we're gonna put on there. Probably just some fun, you know, anime shit and just random things. We'll see what happens. I don't know.
Social media, baby.
Yeah, we can't really do this without social media. I feel like so we need as much support as we can get. So
you should probably make it Twitter too.
Yeah, we'll do that too.
We'll have both of those in the description of this video.
Yeah, be looking for that Anime Punch.
Yeah, AnimePunchPodcast.
AnimePunchPodcast.
This was fun. This is good.
It was. Thanks for listening, guys.
Yeah. And we'll be back eventually. Yeah. You know, in a month or so.
Yeah, probably less than a month.
I think it's going to be less than a month because I'm going to force you to do it less than a month because the season's almost over.
Right, yeah.
So we have to do the seasonal.
We got a lot of ground to cover.
Next episode is the seasonal episode. Cough, cough, come back. It's going to be awesome. This season was dope.
Yes.
All right. This is us signing off, I think.
Signing off.
Yeah.